Hello, I'm Walter Haines with United Employees Law Group. This message is one of a series designed to expose common errors and violations engaged in by companies that have shortchanged employees out of tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in overtime pay and related violations. Having prosecuted well over 700 labor cases, of which more than 70 were class actions against Fortune 500 companies, we discovered that most of these errors and abuses went unchecked over time because employees counted on their employers or the government to protect them. Unfortunately, this has allowed some employees to suffer major losses. We at United Employees Law Group have created this series to help you recognize some of the common violations we have prosecuted. This series is designed to give you insight on your employment rights. The rules in California begin with the basic premise that everyone who works overtime is entitled to receive overtime pay. If you work more than 8 hours in a day or 40 hours in a week, you most likely qualify for overtime pay. There are exceptions to this rule which are very specific. The employer must show that he meets all the requirements before these rules will permit him to avoid paying overtime, and this is where many errors are made. Your employer must show that an exemption such as the administrative, executive, professional, or computer exemption applies. The details of how these exemptions should be applied are published in wage orders issued by the Industrial Welfare Commission. In most cases, these exemptions are not straightforward. The key to your rights and your money is often hidden in those details. Be alert to those common errors. The employer gives you a title that indicates you are a manager or administrator. It is not your title that controls, but what you actually do that does or doesn't make you exempt from overtime. 2, even if you perform some management duties, you must be performing actual management functions for more than 50% of your workday. Therefore, if you manage others, but also roll up your sleeves and perform the regular tasks that others perform, you should be paid extra for the overtime hours you put in. Number 3, even if you don't manage others, you may be classified as exempt from overtime because you are viewed as having a key position in the company. That is, exercising discretion and independent judgment regarding matters of significance to the operations of the company. The fact is that although you may be highly trained and you work on technical matters, it is still likely that you should be paid for all overtime hours. This is because most companies require that you follow set procedures usually described in manuals, and that the work you perform is part of its everyday operations, or that your company provides these services to its customers. Here are some red flags that may indicate a person is misclassified and therefore underpaid. 1, the company is short-staffed and the managers have to regularly fill in and perform non-management tasks. Number 2, working on technical projects in a team with long hours and short deadlines. Number 3, unrealistic deadlines and demands to meet goals requiring long hours. Number 4, seemingly high salaries coupled with long days on a continuing basis. Number 5, temporary workers not paid overtime for the same work done by hourly employees. Number 6, complaints for overtime pay are dismissed or ignored. 7, worker treated as an independent contractor but is closely controlled and regulated. Number 8, if it seems unfair, it is more likely than not a misclassification. If you suspect you have been misclassified, take a couple of minutes to talk to an experienced California labor law attorney and find out what your rights are. This video is part of United Employees Law Group's effort to provide useful information and strategies to protect your rights and to level the playing field. Thank you, and I invite your comments.